Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. This is not going to be one video, probably 2 or 3 or 4. This is going to deal with water. I'm going to take you from having just basic equipment, a little bit of money, to providing your family with water, way up to having a more advanced system. Here I have a lot of redundancy. Water is a thing you need to have redundancy because water is the most important thing. I have a well. I'm not on city water, so I have to provide everything for my family through that well. One of the things that I use is the Boogie Blue Plus. It's a water filter that is made to filter 45,000 gallons of water. There's a lot out there that filter, I think, 10,000 gallons, but this does 45,000. Probably you'll never drink that much in your lifetime. This is only made to remove 99% of the chlorine. It removes heavy metals, pesticides, and herbicides. It's not made to make non-potable water potable. It's to make potable water much, much better. And the reason I have it, I'm not worried about pesticides, herbicides, not worried about heavy metals, I'm worried about chlorine. Because my worst case plan is to use water that is stored. It's stored in a 1,600 gallon tank, and it's stored in about a dozen 275 gallon tanks. I add bleach to it because I want my water to last. I do not want algae to grow in it. If I was not lazy and I could change my water out every month on all those, then I wouldn't have to worry about that. But sometimes I'm lazy and I don't want to do it. I don't want to waste that water. So this filter will enable me to take that chlorinated water that is safe, take the chlorine smell out of it. If you're on city water, you probably don't notice the chlorine. I'm on my well water, and when I take a glass, like at a restaurant, and I reach it up here, I smell the chlorine. It's not what I want to drink. So that's why I use this. If you are on city water and you don't have your own well, you could still use this by taking a tote, storing city water. I would personally add a little bit more chlorine to it, bleach. I use pool shock in a worst case event. That way I can take a little bit of pool shock and make so much chlorine or bleach I can provide it to neighbors and friends. So by using this, I can drink that water. Also, I can feed or water my chickens, I can water the rabbits, I can water the garden by using this filter, removing 99% of the chlorine, because I don't want all that stuff in my animals. I definitely don't want it on my garden. A lot of people I know use city water to water their livestock, water their pets, and this is something that would be useful for them so they don't have to put that chlorine into their animals and eventually into their body. A lot of RVers use these. They go to a park for a weekend. You can put this on your system, so you're removing the chlorine from wherever you go, and that's just healthier for you. So this is made to hook up to a garden hose. I have a buddy that is using it now, but his will be a permanent fixture under his sink because he has an off-grid system. He has a well with a direct drive pump. The solar hits the panels, pumps the water up his hill into his tanks. His tanks are just gravity fed back to his house. He then runs the water through the filter, and he's removing that chlorine that he just added because he doesn't want algae and he wants to keep his water 100% safe. So that's how he uses it. So basically you can hook it up to your hose. I found one problem, and it's not the problem of the device, it is the problem of what you hook it to, because I have some hoses that I was experimenting with in the past. I've had some spigots that leak a little bit. It's not this that's leaking. It's because I might have a spigot that has a little nick in it. I did solve most of those problems by switching. This is the washer that comes with it. I took it and I added a really rubberized washer. You can get them at the hardware store for like 20-39 cents. So if you have a little leak coming here, it's probably not the unit. It's probably you have a little nick in your thing, or it's just old. So that will save you some troubleshooting time. So this is hooked up. It's running through 150 feet of garden hose from my well, from the house, and it's actually the well's over there, 200 feet away. The house is there, so it's got a lot of resistance on it, but it's still putting out a really good amount of water. This will have restrictions, so if you compare it to the garden hose regular, you want restriction. You want it to be working, going through this filter. This is a charcoal filter, so when you first get it and you use it, it's going to come out black for probably 20 seconds, 30 seconds. That is perfectly fine. Just rinse it out and get all that loose stuff out of there. I will further show you how to use this with two different types of pumps. One will be a 12-volt electric pump, and one will be a 110. So you can pressurize your house system using your 275-gallon tank, this filter to remove that chlorine, and then pushing that clean water in. My worst case event is I would harvest water off my metal roof. I would superchlorinate it, and then I would use this to remove the chlorine to put it in my house so I could use it at all my sinks. I'll show you how to do that. Even if you're on city water, you could do that. I recommend a cutoff switch so you're not putting any more water back feeding the system through your property. So this right here is feeding from that 275-gallon tank. There's about 6 inches difference in elevation, and you can see water's coming out. So my worst case, I have critical failures of every redundancy I have. I could take that water, run it through here right there, and take it into the house, and I would have clean water that is chlorinated, dechlorinated, and that's my goal. I don't want chlorine in my water. Let's walk back here and look at the tanks. These will be listed. I'll put a link. It is going to be an Amazon associate, so I will make a few pennies off your sale, which I do appreciate. Let me show you the tank system. This is just a 275-gallon tanks. You can get them for free, or in my area, $40, $50. I can get them all day long that are food grade, that has had a food product in them. You can see it's painted black. I want to limit that amount of sunshine so algae will not grow. And it's just basically hooked up with a hose, and it's running to that filter. So simple. This is my EMP. Everything collapses. I can use this, or I can use the one that's coming off that metal roof over there, superchlorinate it, and then remove the chlorine. I will show you an easy thing that everyone should do. If you have one of these, this one's painted